All guests on ZASLOW Show 2.0 brought to us by the official beer of the program, Johnny Cuba. European roots with that Caribbean soul, a refreshing German lager in a can. That's how we're going to, are we going to enjoy the Heat playing game? We'll try to. We're going to do it with a Johnny Cuba in our hand. Go pick up a six-pack, your local Sedanos, Presidente, Winn-Dixie. Always drink responsibly, and don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. Of course, our pal, my colleague, my co-worker as well, is Evan Cohen, every morning, 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN Radio Unsportsmanlike with Michelle Smallman and the very, very tall Chris Canty. I don't know how else you're going to describe him. Evan, how are you? Hello.
Yeah, you say very tall. You know where I'm going to go now. Zaz and I are at a party a few weeks ago, and my co-host is there, Chris Canty, and Zaz meets him for the first time. And Zaz has a couple of major issues with our show. No, it has nothing to do with how we sound on the air, how we look on television, anything ESPN related. Two things. It says your co-host is too tall and your drive is too far. I said, Zaz, what would you like me to do? I get offered the job of a lifetime. You want me to say no because it takes me 55 minutes in the morning and because the guy is 6'8"? You want me to say no? I need Zaz at 5'10", 10 minutes away?
Look, there's not a lot you could do about the distance, but as far as Canty goes, too tall. It's jarring. I'm sorry. That was my initial impression. I'll tell you what. Well, I'm not feeling so great. I'm not angry at the Heat. You're a huge Heat fan. You do a good job representing nationally. I try and do a good job representing nationally when I'm on ESPN Radio as well. I'm not how are you feeling right now? I'm not mad. I just kind of feel like I think it's been 5 years that Jimmy's been here. It feels like, I don't know that they're going to move Jimmy. I don't see that being the case, but it kind of feels like this iteration of the current team could be coming to an end.
Yeah, so two things. One, on the Sixers game. So when I think back to that game, there are three things I'm going to think about. Jimmy's injury, obviously. I'm going to think about Nicholas Batum and what he did to Miami. And I'm going to think about free chicken. And I'm dead serious. The Caleb Martin 2 missed free throws, the fans in Philly were dead. They were rooting against they were booing the Sixers. Caleb misses the 2 free throws in an 11-point game. Yep. So let's play this out. If he hits one, total points is then 105. Obviously, the game doesn't go that way, but you get the point, right? Tie game in theory. And if he hits one, they don't go crazy. The 2 missed free throws at 6:57 to go in the third quarter, where the fans woke up because they got free chicken. I'm dead serious when I'm telling ZASLOW 2.0 this. I believe that was a massive moment in that game. How am I feeling? I'm feeling confused because part of me feels like, okay, it's over. And have I gone to that place of, if Jimmy doesn't play on Friday, is it better if they just lose, get it out of the way, go into the lottery and not have to get pummeled by the Celtics theoretically? Yeah. Have I thought about that? Absolutely. Have I also thought about what it would be like to actually beat the Celtics without Jimmy Butler in the lineup, or Jimmy heroically Willis Reed style coming back? Yeah, my mind has gone there too. Where I'm kind of landing on is this, says. You said, well, I don't think they're going to move Jimmy Butler. I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's probable. I actually don't think they've ever gone all in around Jimmy Butler. And I think this summer, when you have Jovic, who I'm not interested in trading, but may have to, Jaquez, who I'm not interested in trading, but may have to, Hero, who I haven't been interested in trading, but I'm more open to it than ever before. And it's nothing he's done wrong. It's just, maybe it's time. And first round picks. Maybe it is time to go all in around Jimmy and give up a little bit of the future for the present. And maybe Jimmy becomes the second best player instead of the best player, right? Where is the example in the last 5 years as they've gone all in around Jimmy?
Well, I just think, I mean, they're limited. It's not like they don't want to continue to add great players, but there's all kinds of limitations to doing this.
Oh, I understand that. And I'm not suggesting the Heat haven't done a phenomenal job in supplementing the roster. I'm just saying we've all been tentative to want to give up these young players. If the right player is available, or if the almost right player is available, maybe you do have to consider that. They look good with the Dame situation because Dame's obviously not been that great. I do think there's real life stuff going on. I know there's real life stuff going on with Dame. So I understand, like, but that.
I think that's a thing again this summer. I think it's going to be.
I do too.
This summer.
But real life stuff is not dependent on location. It's not like, I mean, we know what's going on. It's not like his kids are going to be with him if he's in Miami versus Milwaukee. His kids are back on the West Coast with his now ex-wife. I'm not trying to get personal, but that's real. I talked to I talked to Tim Legler about this. Tim Legler was like, I got divorced early on in my career, and like it affected me because I was away from my kids, right? Like that's a real life thing. That doesn't change because he's in Miami versus Milwaukee. Like it being warm versus cold doesn't change your kids are not with you, as you and I both know. Like I think the Dame thing's a real thing. I agree with you. I think Donovan Mitchell thing will be a real thing. That may be more realistic and more logical based on some of the pieces. I mean, are we sure that Kevin Durant's back in Phoenix next year?
As far as, let's go back to the game against Philadelphia again. This team, like, that was exactly the style of play you want if you're Miami, which I love, by the way. I love that game.
Except for one thing. You knew when they were up 14, they were in trouble. I know that's everybody listening and watching knows because they're Heat fans.
Or are they in trouble, or you just know that, yeah, like the home team's going to make a run?
No, I'm talking about the Heat. I'd rather be down 14 than up 14 in the third quarter. Much rather, or the second quarter. I'd much rather, with this team, much rather be down 14. They have a better chance of winning down 14 than up 14. You're right. Stylistically, first half, absolutely. Zone, they're amazing. I got to be fair. I didn't love what the Heat did in the second half. I mean, where was DeLon Wright? He was awesome.
Where was DeLon Wright? You could also say, where was Kevin Love? Where was Kevin Love in the second half, right?
I agree. And Haywood Highsmith should have gotten maybe a little bit more minutes. Like, I thought they should have. I thought there's an argument to be made, Zaz, that they should have tried to prevent Philly from scoring versus scoring themselves. I think they got into this mindset of, well, if Jimmy can't play, we got to have Tyler out there. Looking back on it, revisionist history, but I did think it in the moment at times. I thought maybe just prevent them from scoring. Somehow you're going to find a basket or two. I would have put out the five best. I would have put out Wright, Jaquez, Martin, Highsmith, bam.
So you would have sat Jimmy in that point.
Well, once Jimmy was already out, I would have sat Tyler. And I know he was great down the stretch in terms of, not great. He ultimately made shots. He missed a ton of shots. But I would have just said, you know what? We're not going to outscore these guys. Let's just prevent them from scoring as much as possible.
I find it impossible to get excited for this game against Chicago. How can you get the Heat fan amped up and ready for this game? Because to me, you know, I'm not afraid of Boston, but it feels like you're marching toward a slow death here, all right? You know, if you're going to go into the series against Boston, no Jimmy Butler, maybe no Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson is clearly not healthy. You want to sit here and say, oh, they're still going to beat Boston. That doesn't make you a good fan. It makes you stupid.
I'm not suggesting they're going to beat Boston. I'm suggesting that I've imagined what it would be like and that amazing feeling of them doing that. Right. So let me ask you a question. If I gave you the choice right now, you win against the Bulls and you lose in 4 against Boston, or you just lose against the Bulls, where do you want to go?
Lose against the Bulls. Because you're not saying lose against the Bulls or go up against Boston and you could get slaughtered. You're telling me you're going to lose in 4 to Boston. I don't want to be swept by Boston. I'll take the L tomorrow night. Like, I don't need that shit in my life.
Do you think there's any chance Jimmy plays?
No.
Do you think there's any chance that Jimmy would play in a series against Boston if they were to make it that far?
No.
Do you think a lottery pick is actually helpful more so than whatever playoff run they could have gone on this year? I don't mean the actual player versus having it to trade.
Well, I mean, if they would have won last night, like that. See, to me, that's what last night was. Last night wasn't an opportunity to make the playoffs because they still have the opportunity to make the playoffs. Right. Last night was about the opportunity for a deep playoff run, and that's gone now.
Well, there's no question about that because in the first half of that game last night, when
I thought it was so on, right? It was
oh my God. I had a moment where I just started laughing at one of Jimmy's steals, and I'm like, this guy is unbelievable. Because you know what the telltale signs are. The telltale signs with him are getting to the line, check, flat-footed threes, check, meaning he's much better talking. He wanted
barking
to be
at his teammates. Yep.
He wanted to be
at his teammates,
which he was.
Yep.
And playing free safety. He did all those. Those are all that he was on. It was on.
I know. What's Kelly Oubre doing? You like what the fuck was that? Like Eric Spoelstra, they put the camera on Eric Spoelstra. You could read his lips, and he goes, "What the fuck was that? What was that?"
I don't want to go off on Oubre the way that you are on. Did I love it? No, I've seen way dirtier plays in my life. Way dirtier.
He's kicking his legs in the air.
What is that? Again, I will defend Jimmy from now until the cows come home. But the reality is, he actually traveled on that play too.
Oh, who cares?
I know, but I'm saying it threw off the balance and the way in which they were going about it. Listen, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. Jimmy Butler, the payoff of the frustrating regular season is that he gives us a postseason every year. We deal with the 82 games for the first half and the 14-point lead and the 11-point, 12-point lead at half, whatever the hell it was. And now we don't have it. And now you don't know what the hell to do because it's like, well, now do we retroactively regrade the regular season knowing there is no postseason? Because we always reason with they lost to the Wizards, but like luckily for us as Heat fans, you don't play bad teams in the playoffs, so we're fine. Now it's like they freaking lost to the Wizards. And if they beat the Wizards, you're out of the play-in, and Jimmy may not have that injury. Oh, God.
Do they beat the Bulls?
I'm going to say yes, but I thought they were going to win last night.
I'm going no.
You know what? You and I have had this conversation, and maybe we'll have it after this game. You know what, Bam? Win a game. Win a game, Bam. Be the reason on offense. You win a game.
Like, are you mad at him about the Philly game? Because for me, it's like you can't ask him to do everything. He did great defensively.
But Friday night, I'm asking Bam Adebayo to score 25.
Okay.
Win a game. Go win a game. That's it. Win one game. I'm not asking you to win the title. Win one game offensively. Will you please?
All right. Evan, always good checking in with you. 6:10 a.m. every morning, ESPN Radio Unsportsmanlike with Michelle Smallman, and just a little bit too tall for my taste, Chris Canty. Great job, Evan. Thank you, pal.
See ya.